Hello, welcome to another episode of Outside TV. My name is Paul. Today we are going to talk to you about anything on leg injury, the questions you have, your concerns you have about your leg, your strength, your fitness. We have the honor to have a podiatrist this time. Let's welcome Boon Kiak.
Hi Paul. Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
So Boon Kiak, you're from the t-shirt you're wearing, you're from Podiatry Quest.
Podiatry Quest, yeah. So Podiatry Quest is a private podiatry practice. We deal with foot and lower limb problems, anything with the foot especially, and it goes up to the ankles, the knees, and I suppose that's why you want me to come in today and
Yes.
have a chat about these areas.
Okay, we go to technical terms later. So Today we basically want to talk about anything related to trekking and hiking.
Yes,
But first, so let's establish who you are first. You just mentioned just now. So, what is podiatry, right?
Yeah.
So, physiotherapist, people would know, not most people will understand what physiotherapy is. So, physiotherapy covers large area of the problems, not specialized in one particular area. But podiatry focus on the lower limbs and foot and ankles.
Yes, correct.
Am I right?
Yeah.
So, explain this a bit further.
Yeah, sure. So in podiatry, our foundational knowledge and how we were trained is to specialize with foot problems first. So anything in the foot, when it comes to foot pain, arch pain, heel pain, anything that is in the foot, we deal with it. And this is not only restricted to musculoskeletal issues, so like not only soft tissue pain or bone pain, but we also deal with issues like ingrown toenails, fungal toenails, warts and corns. Yeah, so everything in the foot is something that we deal with.
When we all have problems with your leg, your knee and all that, you think of course first think of massage, right? You think of go to physio, you think of going to even TCM.
Yes.
But the first thing comes to your mind is to do massage. And when you do massage, you go to, the words come to you, or you go to hospital, you want to a physiotherapist. This is what comes to your mind. But to be honest, I think a lot of people do not think of podiatry. I think when podiatry think about the fungus, of the nail, this is kind of equate to that. That's why I think before this interview, I have little understanding of podiatry. So basically, to sum up is, if any problems, anything related to your lower limbs, should go to a podiatry.
Especially your foot. Foot pain, it's anything in your foot, you can go to a podiatrist.
So best to go to podiatry instead of physio.
Yeah. So the physio, physios, just to compare, I suppose, I think there are physios who also take a lot of interest in the foot. But physiotherapy is a training. They cover issues all around the body: shoulder, neck, spine, back. So in terms of the time they spend thinking about the foot, comparatively, it's a lot less than a podiatrist. So in that case, if I suppose because of that, in terms of being as intricate and having as deep an understanding about the foot, that's where I think as a podiatrist we carve our niche.
Podiatry is related in depth into the body parts. Then of course, physiotherapy, anything with physio is about therapy, so it meaning to do
it's about all over the body. For us, it's just the foot and lower limb.
So put it that way, when it comes to treatment, so I want to establish this conversation between prevention and treatment. Prevention to make sure you don't have injury, all sorts of different different preventions. And of course, when you have problem, you have treatments, all sorts of different problems. So podiatry deals with more prevention or treatments.
Actually, all three professions do all three, both actually prevention and treatment, because one would argue that if you treat a certain issue and you solve the pain, and then you, for example, strengthen the area or take further strategies to reduce the occurrence of the pain, then that is also prevention. So the strategies are all multi-pronged and they all overlap, and I suppose. And actually, if you're talking about the name, sorry, to go back to the name part, podiatry, actually, the name it comes from the Latin word podiere. It's actually Latin for foot. So that's actually how the term came about.
I Google sports podiatry. That's how I found you. The keyword was sports podiatry because I want to speak to someone relating to running, hiking, walking.
Yeah.
So I Google sport podiatry. On your website, you especially mention sport podiatry.
Correct.
Okay, explain that.
Yeah. So sports podiatry is a field in podiatry where the demands of a certain sport, intertwines with the profession of podiatry. So, for example, I suppose how it distinguishes itself from just general podiatry. General podiatry could be dealing with other issues in podiatry like skin issues, nail issues, or just general foot pain. But then in sports podiatry, where the niche comes from is both from understanding the demands of a sport. So, for example, in this instance, hiking, right?
Mountaineering.
So, like the sport of hiking and mountaineering has certain demands on the lower limb. And yes, the principles of how to solve the problem is kind of the same, but I suppose the intricacies of doing the sport is important.
Usually when I talk to a person for the first time, hey, let's go hiking together.
Yeah.
The first response was that I'm not fit enough.
Okay.
So do you think you need to be so fit enough to do light trekking or walking? Has it got to do with fitness?
Yeah, I think definitely there is some form of fitness that you need in terms of being able to withstand the load of you walking over a certain distance. But in any case, if I think walking is something we do from day to day, right? In terms of whether we go to the shops or we go to the bus stop, so it's a movement that comes very natural to us.
So this is a long distance walking, long distance trekking.
Yeah.
Do I need to train particular part of muscle?
Yeah. I think the first and most important principle about I think you're coming from an injury prevention point of view. I think most people would not want to get injured after going for a long walk. So I think the key principle about injury prevention is to not do too much too soon.
Say for a newbie who want to be trained, what should be the most common area to be concerned? Other than you say regular walking, regular training, which part of area need to be trained?
Particular body parts of training, I think first and foremost is if you're going to be walking for a long period of time and hikings, the most important thing is to train in a functional way. So you are actually doing an activity that relates to the walking and trekking activity that you do. The two main parts, I mean, everywhere all these muscles are important, but I think the two main parts you want to focus on is actually your calves. So the back of the leg, and actually your glutes.
Your glute, okay.
Yeah.
If you have something to take back after watching this, is to train two important parts.
Yeah.
The
your calves and your glutes.
And your glutes.
Which is the butt muscles, basically.
Why is that so important?
Yeah. So your calf muscle is actually very important because when you actually contract your calf, your foot points down like this. So whenever you point your foot down, right, like this, all right, your calf muscle is contracting and your foot is pointing down. So you think about when you're walking, when you propel yourself forward, your calf is under quite a bit of load.
Okay.
Yeah. Similarly, when you actually land, right? When you land, say for example, you're walking down here, you land as your foot touches the ground. The first spring-like muscle that absorbs shock is your calf as well. So actually, your calf is under a lot of load, and we know from research and how the human body moves is that when your calf is either this tight, for example, there's some form of dysfunction, it causes your ankle and hence your foot to compensate. But I suppose the way to see it is that your muscles are like scaffolding around your bones, right? Basically, they are pulleys and they allow you to move your body, and also with the muscles being strong and well activated, it actually puts less pressure in your joints. And within your joints, you have structures like your meniscus. This is the knee meniscus, and ligaments around your bones, which help to stabilize your joints. So if your muscles, which are bigger structures that can actually help to controls your movements better, it can help to offload all these issues within the joint.
You were saying that those plates, the gel.
These blue parts here.
So this thing will wear off, right?
No, not this. The meniscus. No,
and this one you cannot train.
No, so it wouldn't actually wear off on its own. I think basically, obviously, if they're in a condition like osteoarthritis, the knee this can wear this blue part can wear over time when there's a lot of pressure on the joint. So much so that when you look on an X-ray, there is bone on bone So the way to prevent it is basically like what you experience. You know, in terms of undertaking activity, you want to basically ensure that you have strong hip, like glute and thigh muscles. So much so that when you are, in this case with the knee, when you're undertaking activity, the muscles actually fire in a way that act as if is a suspension for your knee, and there's lesser bone-on-bone stress. What is it in descending that makes it so difficult? So I think the reason is because it's a whole of a, in a sense, it's a whole of a system approach. Going downhill is also more tedious mechanically, so the amount of load you're putting on your limbs is higher because you are literally you're coming down from a higher place, right? So as you come down, you're putting more stress on your lower limbs.
Is there any tips to help or to prevent it or to lessen, such as trekking poles, the speed? As I told you just now, should I go fast? Should I go slow?
Yeah, so interesting you say that, because just now off camera you're saying that when you went down faster, you felt that there's less pressure on your knee, and that makes complete sense, because when you're going fast downhill, you are actually braking less, because as you land and put a foot down, you are actually you're putting a braking force to your body, right? So I'm going to stand. So if you actually land like this, right, you are basically landing, and then there's a braking force that you are trying to stop your body from moving forward. You get what I'm trying to say? So in terms of your knee load, then your knee is absorb a lot of shock. Whereas if you are like moving down a lot faster, right, each step you take is not as heavy, so to speak. So then hence there's less load in your knee and your joints. So actually you feel that it's lighter in your joints. But of course, when you go downhill faster, it means that you have to be more coordinated, you have to be more agile, you have to be more sure-footed. So that is difficult in itself. Yeah.
Does trekking pole help?
Yeah, I think trekking poles mostly help as a bit of a guide, right? So to know where you can plant your foot, and also as a little bit of a support.
What kind of shoe should someone wear when you go hiking?
So definitely a hiking shoe, right? For several reasons, because a hiking shoe has certain properties in the shoe which is made for the terrain that you're going on. So it's got lugs, right? The little like studs on the bottom, and then typically the base of the shoe is wider, right? So effectively you have a more stable platform to land, right? And also the shoe itself, the upper of the shoe where the laces are, is tighter, so it protects your ankle more. And basically it has several features to maintain your foot stability over uneven terrain.
This is my first question would be, a traditional hiking boot versus a modern looking sports running shoe.
Oh, never wear a sports running shoe hiking.
Shoe, I wouldn't name brands. Nowadays are very popular to wear those high cushioning shoe.
Oh, okay.
Many outdoor brands are also making that. To make it more trendy in a sense, also have high cushioning.
Yeah.
So does this really help, the high cushioning thing?
No, I think actually it would cause more issues. So because I think so when you talk about high cushioning shoe, the technical term we use is called stack. Stack. So how thick your shoe is.
Yeah.
So what we know from research is that a higher stack shoe actually lends itself to more instability in the foot.
Okay. Because the preconceived idea of the cushioning, the higher the better, is that it gives you more cushioning.
Yeah,
so
correct.
It gives you length better. That is what people understand.
So
the preconception.
Correct. So that's what it looks simplistically, but what we know is that when you put the human body into it, the foot actually cannot sense the ground as well, because because imagine if you're like walking barefooted, right? You can sense the ground a lot better, and you know where your foot position is. But if you put a pillow on your foot, right? The pillow acts like a big filter that prevents your body, your joint, your ligaments, in sensing your foot position. So you will then be more unstable. You're not as sure-footed in that sense. So yes, the pillow might absorb more shock. Think about this, just literally the pillow. It might absorb more shock as you land. But the fact is that as we go down uneven terrain, we actually need we do it subconsciously, but our foot is almost feeling its position.
Okay. Recently, I tried my last hike. I tried first time wearing a cushioning shoe, and cushioning is on the heel, but I also think that the cushioning on the front foot,
the forefoot,
the forefoot here also important.
Yeah.
Because I think most of the shoes are focused very much on this part.
Correct. On the heel, yeah. So yeah, so definitely you want some. I'm not saying you should go and wear a barefoot shoe or go hiking barefooted, but I'm saying that like what you're wearing now, I think as a hiking shoe, with a good stable base, I think it's ideal. But once you start to add too much cushion, they end up for running. I think it's okay, but because running is mostly a forward motion activity. But hiking, you are navigating rocks. Your foot is moving from side to side, balance. You want to wear a specific hiking shoe for that. And within a hiking shoe, depending on whether you're going for like a climb or like mostly a long walk, that's where I think you need to choose your shoes carefully.
Let's talk about foot type. High arch, flat foot.
My favorite topic.
I personally have high arch. I don't know for people who have a flat foot, how do they feel? Because I never experienced it. I don't know what's the problem they're facing. But you buy shoe, most of the times they don't offer you shoe for high arch or flat foots and all that.
Yeah.
So, how?
Yeah. So the first thing to appreciate is that most of the time, it's actually quite funny you say you have a high arch, because most people will come to me and say they have a flat foot. But when I look at their foot, they actually don't have a flat foot. So I think classifying your own foot type and defining your own foot type is the first piece of the puzzle in this. Like, you need to accurately, by the help of a professional or someone who knows to decide what kind of foot type you have. And then moving on from that, there are certain shoe elements that would suit some foot types more than others, but at the same time, you may not have a shoe that would you may not have a one size fit all solution, so to speak. Yeah. So I think if you have a very high arch or very flat foot, that's where I think you might need to get something specific to your footwear, and this comes in the form of a customized insole, customized foot orthotic, which goes into your shoe to give you the added comfort. Whereas if your foot type is something more within the normal range, right? Then that's where the footwear might be adequate.
This particular word called pronation. I don't know what it doesn't apply to me because I never.
Yeah. No, actually, so good question you asked.
What's pronation?
So basically, let's put this away. So this is something that is worth talking about, because the pronation is like an evil word in foot mechanics, right? But actually, and then what you just alluded to is that someone with a high arch foot does not pronate. But actually, that's not true, because essentially, So basically, pronation. So the pronation is one word, and then the opposite of that is supination. Pronation, supination. So pronation is basically your foot rolling in, right? Sorry, your foot roll. So this is your foot. You're viewing it from the inside here. So pronation is your foot rolling in, right?
That's pronation.
Pronation. From a pronated position, your foot rolling back out, right? That's supination. Yeah. So these are natural foot movements and happen in all types of feet.
Okay. So
everyone does it. Everyone supination. But the thing is that some feet do more of one than the other. Yeah. So it's not to say that pronation is bad or pronation is not is undesired, because pronation is the foot's natural way of absorbing shock. So as you can see, right, as you land, right, so as you land, your heel touches the ground, and then your toes touch the ground. Your foot is, from the ground, is a certain amount of impact. Your foot actually goes through this natural shock absorption mechanism called pronation, where the joints actually splay a little bit, right? And it's like a natural suspension of your foot. So if you don't have this action of pronation, which is like the shock absorption mechanism of your foot, then you will end up with all your bones breaking, because all your bones have to absorb the shock, right? But so you need some pronation in your foot. So regardless of what type of foot you have, you need to pronate.
Anything else on the foot and the footwear that you think that is important for a hikers to know?
Buy the right size shoe. Very important. I think a lot of hikers actually end up with blisters and black toenails, and I think a lot of it is down to shoe fit. So the way to actually judge your foot size is basically you need to put on the shoe and you need to stand, right? You need to do it standing because when you sit, right, your foot is not splayed out totally. You need to stand, and then it's best to get someone to feel for you. And between the longest toe and the front of the shoe, you want a thumb's width.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how you judge your shoe.
Let's get the space there.
Yeah, and another hack I have is actually to if you have a shoe, right, what you want to do is you take out the liner in the shoe. Thank you, right? Take out the liner in the shoe here like this. All right, if you want to judge your shoe size, take the liner and put it on the floor, and then put your foot on top of the liner.
Okay.
And then this way you can judge whether to see whether the size is accurate, and also the width of the shoe is suits you or not.
And on all your toenails will be.
So you need kind of like one thumb's width between the end of the shoe and your longest toe. Yeah, space. One thumb's one. Yeah. So this is like a hack lah.
Interesting tips.
Yeah. This is a tip. Yeah. So take it out and then put your foot on top, and then you can judge the size.
Okay.
But also the size of the foot, right? Because sometimes if you got like a bunion,
bunion, yes.
Yeah. So then what may happen is that the shoe might be actually too narrow for you, but you don't actually know until you wear it. But an easy way to judge is you may stand on the insole, you see whether your bunion is protruding a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned about blister.
Yeah.
So it's very, very common.
Yeah.
Things that happen to a lot of
people.
and
Yeah.
hikers.
Okay.
I don't know whether this has got to do with podiatry.
Yeah, no, absolutely, it is. Yeah. So blisters are basically due to increased amount of friction, right? So when there's a lot of friction within your shoe, on your skin, that's when the blister actually forms.
I'm trying to think of I never thought of blister is a podiatry question.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We do a lot of stuff with blister prevention, giving tips on how to prevent blisters. So the tips I have for you is, number one, keep your skin dry. If you're sweaty feet, use an antiperspirant. Wear a fingered toe sock because that separates your toes and reduces the chance of friction. And then the other one is taping. The slogan to my practice is called "Walk without limits."
Walk without limits.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole idea, right? We want to, at the end of the day, I think we want people to stay active and do their sport and enjoy their sport, right? And people don't realize how important their feet or lower limbs are till they suffer an injury or even like just a small little blister.
To sum up, I just want to re-educate everybody here and re-educate myself again. Podiatry.
Yeah.
A lot of people who do not know about podiatry or never heard of podiatry or never thought of seeking help from podiatry.
Yeah.
Because when you have problem, you go to do massage. You go to see a doctor, do your physiotherapy and all that.
Yep.
Exercise and all that. So take into consideration the podiatry, and there are a lot of podiatry in Singapore. So do seek help for advice. We have good sessions with Boon Kiak. Today I learned a lot.
Oh.
Hoping that we can share this information with more people, and we want to encourage more people to go out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
To learn a lot.
For sure.
So all the tips. There's so many tips. The things remember. Go slow.
Yep.
Do more training.
Yep.
Know your feet.
Yep.
Seek advice from an expert.
when you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a good conversation with you.
Been a pleasure. Thank you. Yeah.
And hope we can hike together one time.
For sure. We'd love to. Thank you, guys. Yeah. So you can find me on Podiatry Quest. It's PODIATRY QEST SG on Instagram and TikTok. And if you need any help with your foot and lower limbs, and you can look for me. Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Easy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great.